Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Right now at 8 o'clock, breaking news. In the past hour, we've learned 4 people led officers on a chase through Johnston and Wake counties. Why police say they started chasing the car.
And our hour-by-hour rain chances go up this evening and continue tomorrow. I'll show you our severe threat.
Inflation expected to cool. In about 30 minutes, we'll get the latest consumer price index report to better understand how our economy is doing. A lot of people clearly want to know that, especially because of the back and forth that we have seen in the stock market. So we're watching that very closely here on WRAL News and Fox 50. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Happy Thursday. We almost made it to Friday. We're almost there. Beautiful sunshine behind us at Dix Park. Blue skies over Pinehurst, Elizabeth, but we are expecting a little bit of rain later tonight.
Yeah, these folks are smart to get out and get it done early. We're not likely to see any rain until maybe 6 or 7, 8 o'clock, depending on where you are. So there's plenty of time to get outside and enjoy the day today. It'll be a comfortable 70 for a high this afternoon. And it's cool this morning. You see a lot of folks out there in their jackets at Pinehurst Resort and Country Club. 47 is our temperature. Our wind right now is coming out of the southeast. Going to push in a little more moisture today and some cloud cover out ahead of our next front. Our temperatures currently are mainly in the low to mid 40s. It's still 39 in Goldsboro, but now that we're getting into the 8 o'clock hour, temperatures are starting to bump up a little bit. Some cloud cover in the mountains arrives here by the time we get to lunchtime, and the rain arrives later on this evening. We're going to see a line of showers and thunderstorms that come through. I'm going to walk you through that on Futurecast, and we'll talk about our severe threat for Friday in just a few minutes.
All right, Elizabeth, a couple of trouble spots I want to bring our viewers' attention to, particularly if you're just getting ready to head out the door this morning. This crash on Durrett Road just cleared in the last 30 seconds or so, but we're still seeing the lingering delays right there on Six Forks Road. So keep that in mind. Even on Durrett Road, we're seeing some lingering delays. So keep that in mind if you're about to head out. The other issue we're talking about now, again, here's that Six Forks Road that we're seeing that delays right there on Six Forks Road. Now, let's go to the east of Raleigh. These are the southbound lanes coming in from Nightdale this one. You can see the bumper traffic, the congestion building. In terms of that major route and other routes coming into the capital city, here's what we're looking at as we pull up these numbers for you here in the WO Traffic Center. You can see it's an 11-minute delay coming in to the capital city from Nightdale, and also an 11-minute delay for Finns and Wake Forest navigating Capitol Boulevard this morning and all those stoplights. Also in Durham, very little to no delays that's going to make you late this morning. I do want to isolate I-885 because we're seeing quite a bit of a slowdown there. So if you're getting into the Durham this morning, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. If you're leaving Durham, you're looking at a 5-minute delay. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
We're following breaking news on a high-speed chase. In the last hour, we learned 4 people led officers on that chase that started in Clayton and then ended at an apartment complex in Nightdale. Let's go ahead and bring in WRL's Eric Miller. He is live in Nightdale right now. And Eric, we're talking about this starting at what, like 12:30 this morning?
At 12:30 this morning, Chris, and there's still a lot left undone here. Yes, there is one person, someone under 18 years old, who's in police custody right now, but there are 3 people still on the run this morning and still some messes to clean up, including this right here. This was the damage left behind when that stolen Kia SUV slammed into the side of this parked vehicle here at this apartment complex in Nightdale, just off Hodge Road. You take a look at the video from earlier, you get a sense just how big the police presence was out here. Officers from Nightdale, from Clayton, from State Highway Patrol, all out here at the scene where this chase finally came to an end. Clayton police tell us this all started right around 12:30 this morning. That's when officers saw 4 people running away from a smoke shop on Clayton Boulevard. Officers noticed a front window there had been smashed in, and when they went to try to stop those 4 people who were running away, this chase got started. Again, it ended right here at this apartment complex in Nightdale. 1 person in custody, 3 others on the run. We're still working to learn more about who exactly it is police are searching for. We'll bring you those details as soon as we get them. In Nightdale, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
JP Morgan says it is still likely the U.S. will enter a recession even after President Trump's decision to pause most of his sweeping tariffs sent the stock market surging. The Dow climbed nearly 3,000 points after President Trump's announcement. That wiped out nearly all of its losses from the past week. Tariffs against China were not included in the 90-day pause. Trump increased those to 125% in response to 84% retaliatory tariffs China issued earlier in the day. economy. And critics say despite the market surge, Trump has done, quote, irretrievable damage to the economy. Well, today we'll get our first early indicator of the effect tariffs are having on inflation. And WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from Cary. Kelsey, analysts say we can expect to learn a lot from the Consumer Price Index report due out in about 25 minutes.
Yes, Michelle, we're expecting to see that report in less than 30 minutes. And this may be the last time that we see inflation cooling for a long time. According to some economists, we know that restaurants, shops and businesses like the ones that we see here in the Village District could increase their prices in the future. President Trump recently announced sweeping tariffs, but yesterday he put them on a 90-day pause, offering temporary relief and big price hikes. We checked in with Duke economist Connell Fullenkamp.
It's an important pause in what could be a big increase in prices for everybody. I think one of the things that we have to realize is that if we go through with this trade war, then virtually no aspect of life is going to be unaffected by that.
Fullenkamp says families could feel this impact the most when they eat at restaurants. That's because so many ingredients are imported from other countries. Restaurant owners may need to get creative and find substitutes or other suppliers based in the U.S. Today's inflation report is scheduled to come out this morning at 8:30, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on that new data. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Police are investigating how a 2-year-old managed to disappear from a child care facility in Wayne County. That child was later found in the middle of a busy road, but they were unharmed. Now, this happened Tuesday at Fundamentals Child Development Center in Pikeville. Police say the child managed to open a gate latch during recess and leave the property. And then a fast food employee later saw the child in the middle of the road and called 911. The center says it's added staff and strengthened fencing. And the employee who was supervising children when the 2-year-old disappeared was fired.
A mother is facing charges after 4 children who were taken from a foster home on the coast were found safe in Maryland. Brittany McCullough is charged with 4 counts of felony child abduction. An Amber Alert that was issued out of Havelock for the 4 kids was canceled last night. They were found in the community of Bryans Road, Maryland, which is just outside of D.C. A man is also facing charges of felonious aiding and abetting.
Tonight, the Durham Board of Education will talk about their budget plans during a work session, and that gets started at 5:30. Last night, Durham parents and teachers expressed their concerns and frustrations about the district's plans. The fallout comes after the district announced a near $7 million budget deficit. The district is under a hiring freeze for the rest of the school year, but there are exceptions, such as transportation staff. But people argue most positions are needed, including mental health support in the district and social workers.
Our DPS social workers are on the front lines, carrying the weight of navigating the challenges brought on by shifting federal policies. Investing in them now will not only support our students in the present, but will also ensure a stronger future for our entire community.
Of course, WRAL will keep an eye out for any developments that come from tonight's work session. You can look for updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening.
One person was taken to the hospital after being hit by a car in Wake County. It happened last night at Cheek Road and Old Weaver Trail. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Witnesses told troopers a man walked out into the road and was hit. The driver did remain on the scene. The man who was hit is expected to be okay.
The first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs are set for the Carolina Hurricanes, and they're going to take on the New Jersey Devils. The Devils secured their spot last night after the New York Rangers lost to Philadelphia. Sorry, Michelle, I know you're a Rangers fan. So we don't know yet, though, whether the Canes or Devils will have home ice advantage in the series, but the Canes have a 7-point lead on the Devils. They can clinch home ice with a strong finish to the regular season, but no matter what, the Canes will play at least 2 playoff games at Lenovo Center. Tickets, so you know, go on sale today at noon. And for more information on how you can get them, you can go to WRAL.com.
Well, time now is 8:09. Coming up, turning to home gardens. Rising food prices are forcing many people to consider growing their own food. What you can do now to save money as warmer weather approaches.
Plus, evidence in question. What attorneys representing the man accused in the University of Idaho murders don't want jurors to see.
And nice and quiet this morning. As a matter of fact, we'll see some sunshine up through lunchtime. The rain doesn't start until after the evening commute, but it could be a real soaker for us overnight. And then some severe storms possibly tomorrow. I'll walk you through all of it.
check out this beautiful view of the WRAL studio tower cam. Look at the clouds in the sky, creating a beautiful pattern there. It is chilly out there. It's clear, though, for now. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look around town. We are expecting still that much needed rain. I think we're all happy when we get that rain.
It is a nice start to the day, but we have rain in the forecast for this evening, overnight, and on and off during the day tomorrow. But pretty this morning. Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, all looking mostly clear to partly cloudy. Chapel Hill's courtesy of Top of the Hill restaurant. Here's a look at our next weather maker. That warm front lifting north of us is opening the door to warmer temperatures today. Our afternoon high almost 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Some cloud cover starting to move into the mountains in the Piedmont. We will see our clouds increasing, but the cold front is still well to the west. We'll see a line of showers and thunderstorms this evening, and then more rain as the front moves across our area tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a low-level severe threat. We could see some hail and potentially some isolated wind damage with the system. This is today at lunchtime, and watch what happens right after lunchtime. We really see those clouds filling in, and a few sprinkles could pop up between, say, 5 and 7, and then at 6 or 7, we start to see that line of thunderstorms move through. It's not likely that they'll reach severe criteria, but the rain may be heavy, it may be blustery, and just wet for this evening. Then we get a little bit of a break, some showers in the forecast for tomorrow morning, so it could be a very wet, messy morning commute. And then during the evening on Friday, we could see a few cells that pop up that could be severe in terms of some wind damage or some hail. After that, we'll see cooler air filtering in behind us on Saturday, but Saturday and Sunday look mostly dry. Our level 1 risk for tomorrow includes the chance of hail and gusty winds. The reason we could see hail is we'll be warm down here on the ground, but this thunderstorm could tower up to 7,000 feet or higher, where temperatures are at 30 degrees. And so the raindrop will get lofted into the air, it hits that freezing temperature, it freezes, and then it falls as some hail. How much rain might we see? Anywhere from around 3/4 to an inch of rain. So it'll be another good soaking, which we need. Maybe a lingering spotty shower Saturday morning. Saturday's going to be cool. Think about that heading out the door on Saturday. But Sunday looks really nice. Sunday probably looks like a slightly better day to be out and about. We'll see partly cloudy skies at 66. And if you want it even warmer, there's your 82 for Monday, kid.
All right, 8:15, Elizabeth. A couple of troubled spots we want to bring our viewers' attention to, particularly if you're about to head out. And mainly it's in southern Wake County. This crash on Hill Needmore Road at Sunset Lake. We were seeing a little bit of delays in the area, but it might be in the clearing stage, just FYI. The other crash not far away is on northern 401 on Dwight Rowland Road. Again, we're not seeing any delays in the area. That could be in the clearing phase. To the east of Raleigh, wow, this congestion, those southbound lanes of I-87 at Smithfield Road really clearing up this morning. In terms of other major routes coming into the capital city, here's what we're looking at. Just a 3-minute delay coming in from Knightdale and a 9-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning. I saw that 11-minute delay if you're coming in from Johnston County, so keep that in mind there on I-40 westbound. Over in Durham, very little to no delays going into the Bull City this morning, but I do want to isolate I-85. If you're going north on I-85, you're looking at an 11-minute delay into Durham. If you're leaving, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Rescue teams are trying to identify the victims of the nightclub roof collapse in the Dominican Republic. Authorities say the number of people who died is now at 218 at least. Community members gathered yesterday as cranes lifted what's remaining of this club, and families hope their loved ones are found among the rubble. An investigation into what caused that collapse, that's underway.
A new proposal in the state house would ban the sale of hemp or THC products to anyone under 21. It would also require any store that sells those products to have a state license. Sponsors of the bill say THC candy, drinks, and even vape products are increasingly being targeted to children and teens. Those products are legal in North Carolina with no age limit. The law says they can't have more than 0.3 THC, but that's not being enforced. Bill sponsors say many products they've tested have much higher concentrations of the psychoactive drug. The bill would close the loophole by imposing a hefty fine for selling THC products to minors.
Attorneys for the man accused in the University of Idaho killings are arguing some crucial evidence should be thrown out. Brian Koberger was in court yesterday, and his lawyers say he has maintained his innocence since he was arrested in 2022 in charge in the murders of 4 students. They say text messages from surviving roommates and their 911 call should be excluded from the trial. His lawyers also want evidence that he bought a mask and knife on Amazon to be tossed out. They're also looking at a selfie. They're wanting that removed from evidence. It's one prosecutors say connects him to a claim from a surviving roommate that the killer had, quote, bushy eyebrows.
Now, this story is bizarre. The wife of Weezer bassist Scott Schreiner has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after she was shot by Los Angeles police. Police say this happened yesterday as officers were trying to track down a suspect of an unrelated hit and run. That is when officers say Jillian Schreiner was seen in her front yard next door armed with a gun. Police say Schreiner pointed the weapon at officers. That's when the officers opened fire, shooting Schreiner in the shoulder. She was taken into custody and was taken to the hospital for treatment. Her bail is set at $1 million.
Today, a nonprofit that helps kids in Orange County get healthy food will celebrate the opening of a new space. It's called Table, and it's based in Carborough. It'll have a reception at its location on East Main Street from 4 to 5:30 today. A ribbon cutting ceremony is set for 4:30. And if you didn't know, Table helps 1,100 children facing food insecurity in Orange County.
Starting today, the North Carolina DOT headquarters in downtown Raleigh will be closed for a while. The facility on South Wilmington Street will undergo a planned power outage for generator testing. This closure will last through April 14th. All NCDOT operations will continue. Higher food prices are worrying many people. Gary Baumgarten tells us that, plus the warm weather, is inspiring people to grow their own food.
Food prices are ticking up, and many shoppers are starting to take notice.
84% of consumers tell us that food prices are high.
A March Consumer Food Insights report conducted by Purdue University shows shoppers' purchasing preferences have remained the same, but many people are starting to worry about those rising prices.
1 in 5 households tell us they've had difficulty paying for food in the last 30 days.
Temperatures are also on the rise, prompting some consumers to trade in grocery carts for gardening equipment.
Almost half, 44% of respondents in our survey tell us they plan to grow some of their own food.
For those turning to home gardening, many plan to stick to the basics.
82% of households tell us they're going to grow their own fruits and vegetables.
Other consumers are planning to turn their backyards into chicken coops to help combat the uncertainty of egg prices.
33% of Americans tell us they're going to keep hens in the backyard to grow their own eggs.
If gardening or chicken raising isn't for you, there are still other ways to make sure that you are spending less.
It's just spending more time searching for good deals and looking for discounts. Another popular coping mechanism is trading down, choosing a cheaper variety.
How concerned was Apple with the Donald Trump tariffs coming into play with the cost of iPhones? Here's a great example. I'm Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center right now. Packages of Apple iPhones and MacBooks being put on airplanes. There were 600 tons of iPhones. That amounts to about 1.5 million iPhones put on chartered flights to get out of India and sent to the U.S. Now, Apple made some discreet plans to boost its India production. They added some Sunday work shifts into the mix there, all in an effort, Apple said, to try to beat the tariffs set in place by President Donald Trump. Now, that obviously is put on hold now with it, but all those warnings to the U.S. and everybody about how iPhone prices could surge given the high reliance on the imports from China. Well, they found a way around it for now and have sent a whole bunch of them. Now, 1.5 million iPhones sounds like a lot, but it's a far cry from the number that they sell worldwide throughout the year.
When there's a will, there's a way, and that way is airlifted. Wake County has set a new launch date for its property fraud alert system. The Register of Deeds announced the system goes live on April 21st. It doesn't prevent fraud, but it will alert property owners if a document is recorded in their name. Now, if you want these alerts, you can actually subscribe to the new system, even if you signed up to receive fraud alerts in the past. The Register of Deeds says this change has been in the works since at least 2020.
The travel industry has gone from predicting a record-breaking 2025 to warning of a big slowdown. The number of foreign visitors to the U.S. is declining. If foreigners stay away, economists say it could cost U.S. airlines, hotels, rental car companies, and resorts billions of dollars. Meanwhile, for Americans planning a summer vacation, Going.com reports domestic and international travelers could see deep discounts.
95 golfers tee off this morning to start the Masters, but a 4-year-old has already stolen the show at Augusta. Rory McIlroy's daughter, Poppy, showed no hesitation on this monster putt during the par 3 contest at Augusta. Look at this. So we've kind of sped it up, but it took a total of 20 seconds for the ball to roll and roll and roll perfectly down the slope green, right into the hole. Good job, Poppy.
She takes after her daddy. All right, well, coming up, flooding fears. Neighbors worry a new development is putting their homes at risk. The problems they're already seeing when it rains, and their concerns about an even bigger issue.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Thursday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Dry and sunny now, but that's going to change later on today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking a front that's headed our way, Elizabeth.
Here comes our next weather maker, already bringing some clouds here to the western part of the state. Those will roll in for us later this afternoon after lunchtime. And then the rain doesn't really start until we get closer to, say, the evening commute. Our rain chances start to go up between like 6 and 7 o'clock and really pick up as we get through the dinner hour and into the evening. It may be heavy at times. And then more rain tomorrow. In Apex this morning, though, it looks nice and bright. Lots of sunshine out there. Temperatures are cool, but not as cold as yesterday. We're mostly looking at low to mid 40s right now, but we'll climb all the way up to 70 this afternoon. So feeling warm before the rain starts. You might run into it if you're sort of on the latter part of the evening commute.
Elizabeth, the southern loop of the Beltline, we're seeing the usual congestion building on I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us. In terms of other major routes coming into the capital city, here's what we're looking at. An 8-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. Just a 6-minute delay if you're coming in from Nightdale and I-87. Over in Durham, very little to no delays heading into the capital city. Now, if you're coming in from Hillsborough, you're looking at a 27-minute delay. So keep that in mind as you're about to head out. An update at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
Thanks, Ken. Police say 4 people led officers on a chase that started near Clayton around 12:30 this morning, ended at an apartment complex in Nightdale. Officers began the pursuit after seeing the 4 people running away from a smoke shop. The front door of the business was shattered and their vehicle was stolen right out of Raleigh. And at noon, Carolina Hurricanes playoff tickets go on sale. They'll play the New Jersey Devils in the first round. We don't yet know which team will have home ice advantage. Next on Fox 50, what North Carolina economists expect to see in this morning's new inflation report due out at 8:30.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We are following breaking news this morning. Police say 4 people led officers on a chase through Johnston and Wake counties. Why police say they started chasing in the first place.
And our next weather maker brings rain this evening. I'll talk about what time you'll see it and then why we'll see that continuing into Friday with a severe weather threat.
And inflation expected to cool any moment now. We'll get the latest reading on inflation. We'll tell you what the new CPI report shows when it's released. That is due out at 8:30. So again, any moment now, we will get those numbers. Thanks for sticking with us here on Fox 50. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Levingood. Yeah, we'll have a breakdown of that report in just a little bit. But first, we do want to get started on your weather forecast today. Woke up just a little chill outside there. Are we going to see a warm up today, though, Elizabeth?
Our next weather maker is going to do a couple things for us. One, it's going to warm us up. A warm front has moved north of us. And so our temperatures, I wouldn't call warm right now, but getting a little more comfortable. This is a live look at Fayetteville, where we're seeing lots of sunshine. We have a wind coming out of the southeast, so that southerly component will help to bump up our temperatures a little bit. It's 47 in the Triangle right now. A little cooler in Fayetteville at 44, and we're looking at low to mid 40s really across the area right now. We're watching some cloud cover to our west. That'll come swinging in here by lunchtime, and then the front itself comes through tomorrow. But ahead of the front tonight, we'll see some rain, and that's likely to be with us tomorrow morning as well. As we get into the first part of the evening commute, there may be a few sprinkles, but by 6, 7, 8 o'clock from west to east, we'll see a more powerful line coming through. Not expecting anything severe necessarily, but the rain will be heavy and the winds will be blustery. Before that rain arrives, we'll see a mild high of 70 degrees. Ken?
Hi, Elizabeth, at 8:31, we got a handful of incidents dotting our live traffic sensors this morning, but nothing really on our major routes that's going to make you late. I want to isolate the Beltline and show you the congestion that's building on the northern loop of the Beltline, as well as the southern loop of the Beltline starting around Lake Wheeler Road, and that's where we have that I-40 Lake Wheeler Road, courtesy of our live cam network. The westbound lanes there moving away from us this morning is a situation that's usually this time of morning where you see that. Now, those of you looking for an alternate route, I-540 usually is, you're looking at an 11-minute delay if you want to get from Lewisburg Road, Capitol Boulevard, all the way over to I-40 Road. Once you get past Creedmoor Road, it's clear sailing. So 11 minutes, yeah, but once you get past Creedmoor Road, it's really clear sailing. In terms of other major routes into the capital city, you're just looking at a 7-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest this morning. Over in Durham, we saw a troubled spot there, and coming in from Hillsborough a little while ago. This was up to like 27 minutes, but now no problems to report. Just a 7-minute delay if you're coming in on Highway 98. We want to isolate really quickly I-885 this morning, because that's usually a busy spot in and out of Durham. If you're going into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 7-minute delay, just a 4-minute delay trying to get to I-40 on I-885. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Breaking news, we are following on a high-speed chase. Police say 4 people led officers on the chase that started in Clayton and ended at an apartment complex in Knightdale. WRAL's Eric Miller joins us live from Knightdale. Eric, this all started about 12:30 this morning.
And it ended literally right where I'm standing, Michelle. That is where that stolen Kia SUV slammed to a stop up against the side of this blue SUV in the parking lot here at the Mingo Villages Apartments. That's just off of Hodge Road, right off of I-87. You take a look at some of the video from the scene earlier, you get a sense just how large the police response was. Officers here not only from Knightdale, from Clayton, from State Highway Patrol as well, all out here on this scene. Clayton police tell us this started right around 12:30. That's when officers saw 4 people running away from a smoke shop on Clayton Boulevard. The officers noticed the glass on that front window right over the door had been smashed. That officer then trying to stop those 4 people running away. They refused, jumping in that SUV, fleeing, and that's when that chase was on. Things finally wrapped up here in Knightdale. 4 suspects jumping out of that car, running away. Clayton police tell us they have 1 in custody right now, a juvenile under 18 years old. 3 others are still on the run this morning. We're working to learn more about those 3 people. We'll bring you those details as soon as we have them. In Knightdale, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
JP Morgan says a recession is still likely for the United States, and that's despite the stock markets soaring after President Trump's decision to pause most of his sweeping tariffs. The Dow climbed nearly 3,000 points after President Trump's announcement, and that wiped out nearly all of the losses from the past week. Tariffs against China were not included in the 90-day pause. In fact, the president increased those to 125%. And that was in response to the 84% retaliatory tariffs China issued. Critics say despite the market surge, Trump has done damage to the economy that cannot be reversed.
Cover in Wake County, a section of road in Wake Forest that has been closed for weeks is now back open. Ligon Mill Road reopened from Woodrose Lane to Burlington Mills Road this morning. It was supposed to reopen yesterday, but it was pushed back over equipment issues and a sealant that wasn't dry yet. The closure allowed crews to work on a new bridge over Smith Creek. The bridge is better suited to meet the needs of the growing community. It includes bike lanes, large sidewalks, and room underneath for a future greenway.
Authorities identified a body found in Wayne County in December as a missing woman from Illinois. The state's chief medical examiner's office says it was Caitlin Hodges. Her body was found on December 10th on Dollardtown Road in Goldsboro. Hodges was reported missing in Goldsboro last July, and the Wayne County Sheriff's Office says the investigation into her death, that's still ongoing.
A former Warrenton police officer is facing federal charges. He's accused of using a taser on unarmed people without justification. A new federal indictment accuses Mark Oakley of using his taser on 3 different people. In one video obtained by WRAL News, a woman can be heard repeatedly telling Oakley to stop, asking what is wrong with him as he stunned her. Warren County DA Mike Waters says the investigation eventually became part of a larger probe by state and federal investigators.
What led to the charges being filed were people coming forward and a lot of investigative work by dedicated law enforcement officers, both for state and federal, both for the SBI and the FBI.
Oakley left the Warrenton Police Department and now works with Littleton Police Department. His current employer tells us he is still on the force while they gather more information.
There was a memorial gathering outside the state legislature yesterday, and it was meant to remember murder victims and to advocate for the protection of children from gun violence. The family of 8-year-old Genesis Dockery was there yesterday, and police say the 11-year-old son of the girl's babysitter shot her. This is a boy authorities say stole a gun from his grandfather. Her family has advocated for gun reform, pushing for safe storage laws in her honor.
What we deal with day to day is one of the biggest reasons we're advocating for better legislation, because we don't want no other family to have to go through this.
We actually sat down with the family of Genesis Dockery in our WRAL documentary, Unsafe, North Carolina Kids Dying from Gun Violence. You can watch that documentary anytime on WRAL.com.
The State Department of Health and Human Services says more than 500 people have died from the flu this season. That's the highest number of statewide flu deaths since broad reporting began in 2009. The deaths of 6 more adults were reported in the last week. The number of emergency department visits dropped by 0.5% in the past week as well.
Today, the disinfection process for water systems across the Triangle comes to an end. Utilities are required by law to go through the process each year, and they go from using ammonia and chlorine to disinfect their systems to just chlorine. And this process for this year started in February.
The Consumer Price Index is in. Highly anticipated numbers coming in from the Bureau of Labor Statistics just released right now. I want to give you a closer look. Now, things were expected to cool inflation-wise for March, and they did. In fact, a little lower than expected, 2.4% in March, and estimates had it around 2.6%. Now, while this happens, whether the trend can continue remains largely at the mercy of President Donald Trump's fluctuating tariff agenda here. As you see the headline, CNN is saying a 6-month low that it's reached, but the pressure is quickly mounting. Now, the Consumer Price Index, that is the number that we pay on things that we need, groceries, gasoline, things like that. Higher food prices would add some pressure to inflation, but some sharply lower energy prices work to offset the rise in that. I checked the markets. Really, the Dow futures relatively unchanged in the last couple of minutes. We'll let this marinate for a little bit and check it again.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Unnecessary risk. Neighbors say this new retaining pond and spillway could cause serious flood damage to their homes. How the developer responded to those neighbors, and 5 on your side.
Plus, diverging diamond dilemma. Many drivers we have been seeing them struggling with the new interchange at Airport Boulevard. What some think needs to change to keep drivers safe.
And the day is starting off cool and dry, but we are tracking rain chances. Elizabeth Gardner tells us when that rain arrives.
Getting you a live look at downtown Cary Park this morning on a very beautiful morning, at least visually. As you can see, the blue skies there, a little cloud coverage there, but not too bad there. We do want to talk about the next weather maker. That's what meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has been tracking all morning long. But with that weather maker comes the potential to see things warmer.
Absolutely. We have a warm front along with a cold front that makes up our next weather maker. That warm front crossed our area and it will help to bump up our temperatures to around 70 this afternoon. But this evening, right around the time of the evening commute, especially toward maybe the second half of the commute, we're going to start to see rain rolling in. Keep that in mind as you're planning your evening and dinner time. And then a low threat for severe storms on Friday when the cold front comes through. Here's where it all is right now. Warm front well to our north, flow coming in off the Atlantic, bumping up our temperatures a little bit. Some cloud cover very close to us now, just to our west. Those clouds will start to fill in closer to lunchtime. Some rain out ahead of the front, and then the front will come through for us on Friday afternoon. So a lot of pieces to the puzzle here, but we'll walk through it. Starting off with increasing clouds at lunchtime. We may be nice and bright until then, and then the clouds roll in, and at 5 o'clock there could be a few sprinkles. By the time we get to, say, 7 or 8 o'clock, we could see a band of heavy rain that comes through, maybe a few thunderstorms, but I wouldn't expect this to be severe. It moves on out by midnight, but then tomorrow morning, it rolls back in. We could see some showers during the the morning commute. And then during the afternoon, we could see some cells that pop up that produce some severe weather. Wind damage and hail will be the biggest threats. And then Saturday starts off cloudy and cool, but we should see a little sunshine through the afternoon. Our severe threat for Friday is for some hail and some strong gusty winds. Right now, it's quiet, but a little breezy out here in front of the town hall in Zebulon. You can see the flags flying, but the sun looks gorgeous. It is 47 degrees, so it's cool, but not as cold as yesterday. Currently, our temperatures are mostly in the low to mid 40s. Cary's at 48, Garner's at 46, and so is Wake Forest. But again, temperatures should be climbing pretty quickly. Right now, we're between 5 and 7 degrees warmer than yesterday, but this afternoon, it should be closer to 10 degrees warmer. Paula Holmes sent us this beautiful view of the Garner sunrise yesterday. Go to WRAL.com/report it and send us some of your photos. It'll be a nice afternoon, feeling pleasant, upper 60s to low and mid 70s. And then temperatures take a bit of a dive tomorrow with the rain at 63, and then a chilly Saturday at 59, but we jump all the way up to 82 degrees on Monday.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Well, some drivers in Wake County are having a hard time with the new diverging diamond interchange on Airport Boulevard. Look at this. Check out this dash cam video here. You can see that van realized it was going the wrong way on the wrong side of the road. According to the North Carolina DOT, diverging diamond interchanges allow two directions of traffic to cross the left side of the road temporarily. Drivers tell WRAL, although there is some signs alerting people of the interchange, they don't think it's enough. Jonathan Paulino works at a Jersey Mike's nearby. He says the interchange has impacted business.
Cars usually beforehand would just make a turn right into here and they would just come in. I feel like that also has affected business. But now they have it set up so where you have to make U-turns everywhere and it just makes everything so complicated.
A spokesperson for the NCDOT says the interchange will allow traffic to speed up while also reducing the number of crashes. Officials say diverging diamonds are not only safe and efficient, the cost is low compared to other improvement projects.
A nonprofit group works to raise awareness about suicide rates, and this includes among active military members, veterans, and first responders. And this group is wrapping up its annual march in North Carolina. The Let's Walk It Out organization's 222-mile march is in its 5th year. Veterans and active military members walk nearly 24 miles a day over the course of 12 legs of their journey. One of the participants, Anthony Peterson, says the march reminds him of the ones he's lost.
The flag that I carry with their names, and it's kind of just my little, acknowledgement to them and just keeping their name and memory alive. That's all we can do at this point.
At the end of each day, participants take 2 minutes to call and check on a loved one they're thinking of. The march will end on Saturday in Fayetteville.
New development has Raleigh neighbors worried about where stormwater will go. Some fear builders have unnecessarily put them at risk of having their homes flooded. 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur took their concerns to the city and the builder.
You can see why this neighbor is concerned. The spillway of this newly built retaining pond is pointed directly at his house. Brian Luter's home backs up to a new neighborhood's retention pond. He's worried a big storm could fill this pond and send the overflow right at his house.
I mean, you don't know if it's during a large storm. You go to bed, you don't know whether this is going to be impacting your house and your family.
Because of his concerns, the city of Raleigh made an offer to the developer, MI Homes. If the developer wanted to make any changes to the design of that spillway, the city would streamline any reviews that were needed. But MI Homes declined. They also have not responded to our many requests for comment. Tonight at 6, why the city says this spillway didn't even need to be built, and the other stormwater problems neighbors say they're already seeing from this new neighborhood. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
Today marks 6 years since a natural gas explosion killed 2 people and injured 24 others near downtown Durham. On April 10th, 2019, a contractor installing underground cables struck a gas line outside Caffeinate coffee shop, causing this massive explosion. The shop's owner and a contractor were killed. At least 25 others were hurt, including 9 firefighters. In 2020, 4 lawsuits were filed in connection with the explosion. They were settled in 2023.
New this morning, a child is dead and 2 others are seriously injured because of a gas explosion in Missouri. Authorities say a subcontractor accidentally struck a gas line and the explosion damaged several homes. Investigators say evidence indicates a man lighting a cigarette in a home where gas was building is what led to the explosion. And severe flooding in parts of Kentucky has left many people with damaged or destroyed homes throughout the state. Devastating storms moved through the state, bringing in heavy rain, flooding, and damage too. In some places, people were ordered to evacuate, but only now are they able to return and assess the extent of the damage. That's because the water is receding. Emergency management is working on next steps to help flood victims.
New executive orders from President Trump target 2 federal officials who criticized him during his first term. The executive orders the Justice Department to investigate former cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency director Chris Krebs and former Department of Homeland Security official Miles Taylor. The president's action also strips them of any security clearance they may still hold.
A post-apocalyptic drama gets a renewal, and Ewan McGregor takes a trip across Europe. Asher Dvorkin has a look at these stories in today's Hollywood Nation.
It's great to be back on the road again.
McGregor revs up another adventure. Goldstein goes for laughs, and Joel and Ellie get a renewal in the Hollywood Nation. The post-apocalyptic drama will continue for The Last of Us. HBO has renewed the hit series for Season 3. Season 2 premieres April 13th and is set 5 years after the events of Season 1. It features Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey returning as Joel and Ellie, whose peaceful lives in a mountain town are disrupted when they are forced to fight against the clickers and human threats.
Is it safe? Is it safe?
Brett Goldstein gets a date and a first look trailer for The Second Best Night of Your Life. His first HBO stand-up special will feature the Ted Lasso star joking about love, sex, masculinity, and more. It premieres April 26th.
I want to open an Italian restaurant. What are you, crazy?
Netflix released the trailer for the comedy Nonas, starring Vince Vaughn, Susan Sarandon, and Joe Manganiello. The film is based on a true story about a man who opens an Italian restaurant in honor of his late mother and hires a group of grandmothers as the chefs. It starts streaming May 9th.
This time, Europe is our playground.
Ewan McGregor and his travel buddy Charlie Boorman are back on the road for another motorbike adventure. Apple TV Plus released the trailer for the new season of Long Way Home. It follows the duo on an epic trek across Europe, kicking off from McGregor's home in Scotland to Boorman's in England. The show returns May 9th.
When you explore the world, it makes you feel so connected.
Obi-Wan Kenobi in his side quest era. Love to see it. North Carolina's spring litter sweep gets underway this weekend, and this biannual event invites people across the state to bag litter and beautify our roadsides. Volunteers can request free cleanup supplies from their local DOT maintenance office, and this includes gloves, safety vests, and trash bags. DOT crews will also be collecting litter and removing the filled bags, and the litter sweep runs from this Saturday, April 12th through the 26th.
Happening today for the first time ever, the public will have a chance to skate on the Carolina Hurricanes' home ice. Lenovo Center is hosting a celebration skate this afternoon in honor of the venue's 25th anniversary. There are 4 skate sessions starting at 4:30, ending at 7:30. Tickets are $25 for adults and $10 for children. All proceeds will benefit the Hurricanes Foundation.
Definitely a great cause to go to. We do have a look at your winning NC Education winning lottery numbers. We're going to get you a check on weather and traffic in just a little bit. We're also going to have just a little bit of a preview with Elizabeth Gardner's check on the next weather maker that we are watching very closely.